I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Smite Draft League. It's 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn. No, it's actually 8:14 and I'm very much in my home. This is week 6 Divine Division. On the side of Order, we have Wild Inferno. On the side of Chaos, Sunbreakers here. I am Deelo, joined by KingFsher. KingFsher, how we feeling?
Feeling really good, obviously, going into our, I believe it's a last set of the season, so really hoping for some fireworks to come out of this one. Two really strong teams, and especially when we look onto the Order side, Wild Inferno, HackAustin, I think we were talking about it in the break, just absolutely coming alive lately, doing really, really well. I'm excited to see almondbutter as well, a support that I think is extremely undervalued in this division.
No, absolutely. When I've been commentating a couple of Divine games recently, one where HackAustin made an appearance, and what I always love to see is variability, adaptability on these players, and no one encapsulates that better than HackAustin, who's able to really kind of just do it all, which really can put pressure on the opposing team. When it comes to HackAustin, able to really fluidly switch between being a mid and a carry, provides a bit of a double threat because you don't exactly know where he's going to pop up, don't exactly know where the gods that are being put onto the Wild Inferno squad are going to end up in the lane. So something to have to watch out for if you're a Sunbreaker right now. But right now, watching out for quite a few basic picks, actually. Well, basic for this season, the season of regrowth and healing and hope and such, as we do see Horus being taken off, Cernuno striked off, Hercules, a lot of healing, but then, of course, the classics, a lot of assassins and physical base gods being kind of iced out here in this beginning ban phase.
And I'd have to think that Cernos is a little bit of a target ban. I think still probably one of, if not the best, physical ADC, but you'd have to imagine it'd be an Ishtar or something instead of that Cern. So maybe it's a ADC here from the Sunbreakers, piloting it really well. We saw an Aphrodite ban, but Terra gonna sneak through. Another one of the gods really affected by the healing update. A lot of people thought she was gonna be really bad at first, but it's having a strong showing in Season 2 of Year 10. I really hope that's right.
I'm sure your PEMDAS is fine there, my friend. But yeah, Terra, absolutely. Definitely big transition when we talk about the monolith and how it's been transitioned from providing more heals to more protections. And with the amount of space that monolith can cover, if you leave it up in that first form where it is a defensive tool rather than an offensive one, it can really provide some serious objective play help when you're just trying to posting that up on the Gold Fury pit or in the Fire Giant pit and have your team rotating around that little stone, playing Ring Around the Rosie a little bit. But as well, who's going to be joining that game of Ring Around the Rosie is going to be the Ishtar, someone who we've seen being picked here, a very high priority pick, someone who's very still effective. Does not matter what season it is, Ishtar is going to be a threat.
Is for sure. I think we talked about it when we mentioned the
Oh
Cernanos, but
no.
now on the flip side, it's a
Oh
Hachiman
no.
hover. I'm a little bit love hate on this. Hachiman is a
Oh
god.
no.
I think Hachiman's awesome. I think really, really undervalued, especially in the last season where mage ADCs were so prevalent. That has to be the right one. Oh, they baited me. Oh no, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Okay. So, all right, some lore here, some divine lore. We recently saw a Hachiman versus Ishtar set get dropped, and somehow the Hachiman's team won. I think it actually might have been Wild Inferno playing in that set. I forget which side they are. I think that they might have had the Ishtar. So maybe trying, if that is the case, which I think I'm correct, maybe trying to reverse that onto their opponents here, the Hachiman Fury. But I I'm sorry. I'm gonna fall on the side of hate. I've seen it in action. I've seen it work. So but I'm sticking by my guns here. Hachiman objectively is just a worse performing god than Ishtar. There's very little that Hachiman provides that is better than Ishtar beyond escapability with that ult and because the AOE is the same. It's just the mobility that you have off it. The stun's a lot harder to hit off the dash. It's a bit more finicky. Less you have less variability when it comes to the ability to change your basics. You only get 4 of those in pocket. Ishtar can spam them all day. Gonna have to see if Wild Inferno can make Lightning Strike twice here, but this time capture it for their own side rather than have it used against them. I'm very curious to see if it works.
It's going to be a really difficult matchup in the lane. I do think the one thing that Hachimana is going for him over the Ishtar is going to be the safety. I mean, you pop the ultimate, nobody's killing you, you're getting all the way down the lane. Not something
It's
Ishtar can
true.
really match, although she does have a really nice dash and CC immunity, so certainly not bad in her own right. And I love seeing this Maui pick for almond butter. I think we've seen them run it pretty often, if I'm not
Oh yeah.
mistaken, and find some really, really nice success with it. And on the flip side, I'd love to see an aggressive Fenrir support to counter it, but there's already a Terra, so I think that's going to be a jungler for Sunbreakers.
And Almond Butter, a huge supporter in the comments of Maui glitches with landfall. So maybe trying to employ some of those to, to his side this time, because we did see HackAustin recently take a little bit of a ride on the Fire Giant. Almond Butter maybe trying to take his opponents now on that same Carnival ride. But ooh, the Ymir pick. Ymir's been an interesting god lately. I've really been seeing it used to amazing effect when you have gods like this right now. You see the Hachiman and the Mercury, the damage core of this team at the moment, is going to be really blocked out if you do decide to lock that in with some nice wall placement. It's really underestimated how great a well-targeted, precise Ymir wall can be. It's just annoying as hell. But it seems like we're going to switch off there and maybe go for the Ao Kuang, a bit of more magical damage in your pocket. But what we will have for certain is the Fenrir, who's certainly been a high priority, and the Ao Kuang as well. Going to be interesting to see where they take these. Can only imagine it might. I don't know. What do you think, KingFsher? I've seen Ao Kuang be taken to the solo lane as well, actually, now I think about it.
I mean, I'd almost expect it to be solo for one simple fact, in that I do not think, and I might get some hate for this, I think Fenrir is a horrible solo laner. Love him in support, love him in the jungle. I don't think he's very good in the solo lane. Has a Guan Yu though, so I guess could stick with him through the Brutalize, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Dash, not a leap, so maybe they'll play around with it a little bit, but I think on top of that, Ao Kuang solo, you build the exact same as jungle pretty much, and it hits just as hard. I don't really see a reason to throw Ao Kuang into the jungle and have Fenrir suffer. But I guess we're gonna see. I do love this Poseidon pick though, some really, really strong objective secure. Always love seeing that on teams.
And that is what we actually saw as well. HackAustin recently was able to employ this Poseidon. So if we're going to see that remain on HackAustin, I'm honestly really looking forward to it. HackAustin has some amazing Krakens, really good at placing those down, bursting someone out of the game, and usually managing to get away with their life for a little bit longer, getting off a few more whirlpools. But obviously, Poseidon's job is really just blow up the spot, at least take down one with him before he potentially can go down as well. But obviously, best case scenario, you stick around for some more whirlpools. I'm going to respectfully, KingFsher, say there is some argument for why Fenrir can go jungle. Fenrir can go solo here. Fenrir, if employed correctly, I've seen this being done in the Mortal Division before, where you essentially use him as almost another jungler. You really have him rotating around a lot. Once he gets some early pressure in the solo lane, you can have him rotate around a lot because, of course, the increased mobility of Fenrir that allows him to really dominate the map and provide a lot of aggression. So if they decide to go that route, that could be really interesting. Obviously, we're in Divine here, but I still think absolutely these players are capable of those kind of advanced strategies. And it looks like we're going to have a ROM to lock out the comp. I'm interested right now. We got the double hunters and we have double potential, double assassins essentially, rounded out by that guardian. Who do we think, just based on the draft here, wins out?
I mean, for me personally, it has to be Wild Inferno. I don't hate that Sunbreakers comp, but at the same time, I think it's going to be a lot more execution heavy. Wild Inferno are going to be able to mess up like 5 out of 10 times. That's not a good fraction. Like half the time, and they're not really going to get punished for it because of the nature of their draft.
Reducing them fractions there with ease. KingFsher, ladies and gentlemen. No, I see your point there. I'm interested to see what Sunbreakers do. I honestly think they might be able to pull this off. Quite a decent. You have to make sure that Ao Kuang is doing well early, because otherwise that's all your magical damage essentially being nullified. If he's not a threat, your Terra is obviously not going to be dealing that magical damage, and they're going to be mitigated out by the protection. So that imagine they're going to be building on the physical side as well, given that they have 3 very high damaging physical gods on the side of Sunbreakers. But only one way to find out if they will pilot it to perfection. We're going to have to get into the game. We will see you on shortly for game 1.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone out, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral. parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space.
Welcome on back, everyone, to this Divine Draft League game. Week 6, Wild Inferno on the side of Order. Once again, Sunbreakers on the side of Chaos. I'm Deelo, joined here by KingFsher, who was indeed correct there on the call. We do see that Ao Kuang will be heading to the solo lane. Only makes sense, you know, if you got a giant dog, you want the giant dog to be playing the giant dog. So really, I'm a fool and should have expected that.
That really should have been a tip-off for us. Should have seen it on the desk. I think the one other thing we did see on the desk, I mean, to be fair, Wild Inferno top-locked Mercury, which is a great choice, I think. Mercury really good right now. Imagine if this comp had no Wheelix, though.
I thought for a second they were like just staring at each other, but I realized that the minions are also partaking. Seems we got an early pause here to deliberate further on that potential of the Wheelix. We will be right back to sort this thing out, and we will see you shortly.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go?
And welcome on back, everyone. Apologies for that brief delay. Hope you didn't go anywhere. Hope you got your coffee, your juice, anything you might be having. Right now, we're seeing Frostech being bullied out a little bit. In fact, all the members of Wild Inferno a bit worse for wear in terms of the poke. Frostech has, in my past games that I've watched of Frostech, I've seen Frostech struggle a decent amount in the laning phase. Obviously, Guan Yu not meant for the laning phase, but even beyond those standards, it's more than you want your Guan Yu to be suffering. So what I'm looking for Frostech here, obviously that utility... Wait, hold on a second. As we say that, though, some decent damage coming over in this dual lane side. Both members of Wild Inferno low. You'll be able to back on out of that. But yeah, I'm looking for... Frostech, obviously, you just kind of got to hang on. You just got to make sure you're not getting too far behind so you still have a presence in those bigger team engagements. If you drop a kill or two, okay, just I'm really looking for Frostech to not get too bullied out in these beginning phases against the Ao Kuang.
And I don't think we're really going to see Frostech come online until the true late game. I mean, obviously, you said Guan Yu, not really the most aggressive solo laner in the world, kind of struggles in lane sometimes. Being against basically an assassin isn't going to help with that at all. Ragemore can definitely clear wave and poke out faster. Also, the Ao Kuang's going to be rotating sooner, it's going to be rotating better. So if I'm Frostech, it's almost your AFK until you hit level 20, and then the Ao Kuang really can't compete with your presence. They're really going to have to rely on Giant Dog and the Fenrir to kind of match the aggression of the Guan Yu late game.
And that's aggression is the name of the game there when it comes to Guan Yu. You want to be placing that early pressure. Guan Yu is a sucker without a mana buff. Take that away from him. Don't let him have his toys, and he's gonna, you know, have to throw a tantrum about it because then Guan Yu can't stick around to play. If you don't got no mana in your pocket, no Tile of Soul. Right now, Frostech in fact looking incredibly low. Seems like that might be just the story right now against Ragemore. Ragemore a very efficient solo laner too, so definitely got to be careful when it comes to that. In fact, looking maybe for something over here. We do see Zoinked moving on over, but Ragemore already well out of the way of that, but I'm just gonna have to imagine that it's gonna be the story for the rest of this. Meanwhile, though, we see a different story here. Ishtar in the mid lane. What are your thoughts on what does Ishtar bring when it comes to mid lane presence versus a typical mage that you might see being played there?
I think the one thing that really comes to mind for me is just kill pressure. I mean, the story for a lot of mages is you clear wave and then you kind of go to poke out, see if you can get a kill. With Ishtar, it doesn't even have to hit the wave. She can just poke you out like crazy, has a really nice root, has a mesmerize as well, gets a lot of damage off. Speaking of a lot of damage, CACTUSARMS dropping low, gets past the archers though, so shouldn't be much follow-up. And I think, yeah, Ishtar probably one of my favorite ADCs for mid lane. I think just really pairs seamlessly with her level of aggression. Oh, but now KoalaMang dashing in.
Yeah, aggression coming in from both sides here of the dual lane. Going to be finding a bit more damage onto them. CACTUSARMS a bit low, going to have to retreat on back, but now both members of the Wild Inferno side of the dual lane also pretty low. Got to imagine there might be some pressure being applied here as we do see Zoinked hovering to this side of the lane. If you are the junglers from each side here, where do you think you're going to be focusing your attention?
I mean, if you're Sunbreakers, I would undoubtedly be focusing on that solo lane. I think we've already talked about Alkwang is just going to naturally get off to a much better start. Anything you can do to keep that Guan Yu behind is going to help, just like this. Erzil holding them under tower.
Oh, no.
Alkwang's going to get... Ooh.
Cowboy Charge gonna come out, maybe get some escape off. You got the brutalized, solid damage. Now in hot pursuit though, but looking pretty worse for wear when it comes to mana. Execute range is found, but so is the Sonic Boom. He misses though, unfortunate there with the major look, but gonna find the kill nonetheless with the special delivery. That looked to be a very risky endeavor. If Zoinked missed one more ability, could have been turned the tables on him. Gonna pick up a first blood though, unfortunately. Sunbreakers, they played with their food a little bit too much. Should have really just abandoned that engagement once the full commit had already failed onto the ult underneath the tower. Gonna pay for it with a first blood.
Does get the first blood indeed. Really nice job by Zoinked rotating over there, getting the kill. And I think we talked about we're expecting Fenrir a lot in the solo lane. I think it's going to be the same thing from the Mercury, which is kind of a shame because a Merc and a Poseidon just have so much kill pressure. Like an Alkwang that's left to his own devices, Ragemore gets a little bit of a return kill onto Frostech. That'll help to even up the XP a little bit.
And that's got to be frustrating because it really does just kind of nullify what the work that Zoink just put in to put the Guan Yu, because like we talked about, not really the position you expect the Guan Yu to be in when you're sitting pretty with a kill up ahead on your solo laner who's an Alkwang, but unfortunately gonna lose that advantage now. Gonna return back to even. Zoink now trying to make something happen on the opposite side right now, punching in. Special delivery gonna come out. Master Fisherman on in and going to try to use your own Horsey charge scene, but what even happened there? It seems the Rama Snipes came in as well to provide some assistance. KoalaMang going to try to get out, though, with a little help they have. Zoinked in hot pursuit. Special delivery going to put him in a wall and knock him down to Fountain. Still looking quite low. The Hachimon's going to be brutalized down by Giant Dog, a kill in his pocket. Sunbreaker's still in hot pursuit. Unchained. Ragnarok going to be beads there by the Maui. Get yourself out of that nice and fine. Zoinked can provide some support. But some high octane action right now going on in the dual lane with one kill, I believe, to each side.
And I didn't even realize that Maui had the beads until this exact moment. A little bit of an unorthodox pickup from almondbutter, but into this Fenrir, I definitely like it. Zoinked gonna get followed through that dash, but no kill pressure, gonna be no problem. And Ragemore is taking a lot more poke than I really would have expected from this Guan Yu. I'd love for him to get a little bit of physical defense in that build, but given everything we normally see from an Alkwang solo laner, I don't realistically see that happening this game.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's unfortunate though, because you really don't expect, you can try to, if you get under Tower Assault, which is the main poke damage that a Guan Yu can provide, you try to Water Illusion on out of that and make sure you're safe. Doesn't seem like that's gonna be the case though. Low on mana, Ragemore gonna have a bit more breathing room at this moment. Realizing now, I mean, Wild Inferno's on Team Horsey right now. They got two ults that once again provide a lot of like horizontal and lateral movement on the ground, but the issue with this is the only person able to escape a Brutalize easily is going to be almondbutter, and well, actually HackAustin as well. If you place the whirlpool down at your feet, that can be certainly helpful. But the rest, we saw it. Zoinked tried to escape with the best possibility they could, but Brutalize just chases you down. If you're in an ult from Frostech or XSquidTooMid, Brutalize is going to follow you all the way there. So you got to really be careful about that. Make sure that you're not relying on those abilities to get you out to safety, because they're not going to save you against the Fenrir. They're not going to save you at all.
Not going to in the slightest. CACTUSARMS going to be forced to kind of drop off from mid a little bit. And yeah, discipline plays a huge part when you go against a Fenrir, because an ability like that, you really have to wait until he's dealt about half your HP bar to try and escape. You really can't be too preemptive with it, or the entire thing's just not going to work and you're going to end up completely wasting your getaway. Now I think there's a little bit of what we expected. Rama having some aggression. Good stun by the Ishtar, but Evan gets under tower. Has to use beads to escape.
Bloodforge going to provide a little bit more help, but nice Sonic Boom landfall combination. You're going to put deeper into the tower. Body blocked a little bit. Going to be good there. Excellent play from the members of Wild Inferno. The jungle and the support making it happen. That was a brilliant CC chain.
And that was with the Poseidon dead. Just imagine how in trouble that Sunbreakers backline is going to be once they're able to properly coordinate some dive. And again, Ragemore taking a lot from the Talau Assault. And I don't know if that dive is worth it from the Ishtar. I might have to wait a little bit, though. Giant Dog has to use beads as well. Wild Inferno not going to chase him. But I was going to say, I don't know how useful that kill is for Evan. Stays up in levels, but I'm worried might lose a little bit of momentum there in the mid lane. You really don't want to give Wild Inferno anything to play with, especially if they're still going to have their support and jungler there. Speaking of support, so Terra moving into the middle, maybe trying to find something. I think it's going to be a non-starter, though.
Oh, unfortunate. I mean, the reactions already happened there. Nice job from xSquidTooMid. They're going to be able to get on that with the quickness, not before the Ragnarok is unfortunately wasted by Giant Dog. Not going to be up for a little bit, so you at least don't have that to worry about. But unfortunate that that gank was not able to quite get off the way they wanted it to. I do agree that you really don't want to sacrifice your pressure in the mid lane there. Obviously, killing HackAustin nice, but there's two members there to support with that. And what I love to see is I feel like Landfall can be such a hit or miss ability. Sometimes I feel like Maui's use it to use it. Displacement's very nice, but there has to be follow-up. And right there was brilliant coordination. Zoinked saying, hey man, I got this. Gonna follow it up nicely with the Sonic Boom and the special delivery. That's the kind of coordination that's gonna really bode well if they can keep it up in the bigger engagements.
It will for sure, and I do really like to see Maui's kind of throwing the ult, not necessarily like just kind of because they can, but there are so many characters in this game. I think Giannis is always one that comes to mind, where with your ult, you're really just looking for the perfect hit, and you end up holding it for way too long. There's situations where it would have been nice to at least go for a risk. I'm never going to hate on somebody for throwing their ult out at a seemingly random time. Just a little bit of discipline though. Ragemore going to have to blink away. Zoinked cannot find him. So the Kwang doesn't have to use a wing shard to get away. And speaking of, we've been seeing a lot more of that item lately. xSquidTooMid's gonna need an ult to get away from this one.
Nicely done there. Okay, expending that properly. Snipe's going to come through. Could be able to find if he gets all three. Not going to find anyone but the one. A lot of pressure being expended onto Hachiman. They're really trying to keep it down, which is interesting. I mean, you obviously don't want to hyper carry, but Kraken going to be falling down here. Landfall as well. Going to miss, unfortunately. Blaze Retribution going to find two, I believe, but not going to find too much damage. Sonic Boom coming on in. Pretty low right now as HackAustin that's keeping the backline. Zoinked going to have to bow out stage right inside the Whirlpool, dragging him on in. Nicely done there from the Master Fisherman. Giant Dog going to find a kill on a HackAustin to the back, and now they're all in danger. Ragemore going to find Zoinked. Execute has not been expended. Can easily get that if almondbutter still remains in range. Trying to wrap around right now. We do see Frostech is here to try to support their support. Not going to be necessary unless they continue on this offensive. They're wrapping around the tower. Diving into tier 2 now. Knows the execute range is there. Gonna find it. Excellent coordination there between the jungle and the solo. Gonna dive on back for some safe farm.
Really, really strong play there from the Sunbreakers, able to kind of close it out. And Wild Inferno, they landed, I think, 2 of their 3 ults with their core 3 there in the mid lane, but not a single beads expended from Sunbreakers, and they all live that long. A little bit, not necessarily disheartening to see, but kind of tells Wild Inferno, you know, they need to get a little bit more on track, maybe try to sync those abilities up a bit more. May have gone differently, but there's really not much you can do when that Kwang rotates over. I think kind of spelled the end of that fight. Now Sunbreakers, they got a really nice play. They got a few thousand gold lead. I'd love to see them turn that into a Pyromancer or something, but I think they were all really too low health to kind of commit to it.
Unfortunately, I think the name of the game there was that they didn't really focus on what their comp's meant to do, and once they had the engagement, they really tried to full commit it, press their foot on the gas pedal, which I respect it. Always good to try to take some risks, but your comp is meant to burst someone down. Kraken, Sonic Boom, one punch, you got to get out. But once that had already happened and no members had fallen, it was all just a bit forced, and that's really what caused them to stick around too long for the big rotations to come in from Ragemore that really made everything fall apart.
Did. Now Ragemore gonna start building into defense. Massive crack and knocks up Giant Dog.
Blaze of Retribution, though, going to find almondbutter. Do quite a bit of damage. Zoinked is coming in here, though, with the clap on standby. Not going to be able to try to find it. Intimidation bonus is always useful, though. Both Evan and a Giant Dog have to retreat on back with what damage they've dealt and with what damage they've taken. Meanwhile, in the solo lane, 2 levels down right now is Frostech, but honestly, I think Frostech's done a pretty decent job of not being too bullied out by the Kwang. But I haven't spoken too soon. But never mind, that's an unfortunate misplay. Gonna be able to luckily get on out of that situation right before the special delivery found him. Sonic Boom on standby, gonna miss, but it's gonna put him in the perfect range to get some punches off in the back of this Kwang's head. Special delivery, or no, sorry, Major Look gonna find some more damage. Pyromancer being engaged at the moment. Terror's Blessing going to provide a little bit more peel for Ragemore. Going to be able to back on out of that one safely, and I believe that is a Pyromancer as well in Sunbreaker's pocket.
It is indeed. Given the Runic Bomb over to the Terror, we've seen a lot of teams give it to the Jungler, but especially this early in the game, probably still like having that on the support. And I think I was going to talk about before that whole big skirmish broke out, Ragemore actually building into defense, not something I'm used to with an Kwang.
Interesting.
And I think yeah, it's really going to speak to how they want to play this comp. Maybe they are going to treat Fenrir much more like a traditional assassin. I know we were kind of expecting to be more of a kind of an initiator, really just CC bot for the rest of the team to follow up. Maybe not going to be the case, though. But now they're all focusing around the Gold Fury. Ao Kuang's in right lane. I think it's going to be the best chance Wild Inferno have got. But that being said, they're definitely still behind in this game. They're going to have to take some sort of a small fight first before they're going to be able to step up to that Fury.
Not having either of these soul lanes is an interesting dynamic because, yes, Guan Yu provides more overall presence to a team fight, but at the same time, 2 levels down right now is that Guan Yu. So it's about even, honestly, when it comes to what I'd say the contribution that each members of this, 3 levels down, in fact, what each members of this team can bring to these bigger engagements in the Gold Fury pit. So gonna opt to, both teams gonna opt to just retreat on back, maybe wait for other people to rotate on in. But it seems that the pressure is just going to only be mounting even more for the Sunbreakers in the solo lane side. As now we do see, though, being engaged, Sunbreaker is going to try to start it out. Maybe looking for kills, though. It seems the main objective, XSquidTooMid, is on the menu. Dash going to be expended, but special delivery is there as well. Ragnarok going to try to bring him back, but Bees has already been used. GiantDog now finds himself quite in a world of hurt. A lot of damage there. Zoinked going to pick up the kill already. Blaze Retribution going to find one, and KoalaMang going to find another. XSquidTooMid falls to the snipes. Double kill there for KoalaMang. Excellent job there with the accuracy. Precise and nice. Going to beads on out of the whirlpool is almondbutter. Those Maui beads are actually coming quite clutch for them. Did it walk? It looks like he walked through the wall there for a second, but it's actually just the map. Gonna find the basics. KoalaMang's got a triple now. Might try to find some more. Got a big Bloodforge shield. Gonna eat that tower shot, though. That's gonna expend it all. He's looking for revenge, though. Almondbutter gonna pull him on in. Aegis nicely used there. Might still be in quite a bit of trouble. Solar Swing not gonna find its mark. The minions will just provide the only target for Koala to exercise his frustrations against.
Love seeing that pull from almondbutter, forcing out the Aegis on the back end. Would have been really nice if they got the kill onto the Rama. But, you know, you'll take what you can get. Now Gold Fury going to be dropped by Sunbreakers. They're at 5,000 gold lead right now. Should extend a little bit more. I like that play because now Oni Fury going to be up at the 20.5-minute mark. And the fight's been looking good for Sunbreakers. If they can keep the energy up, maybe focus on getting those tier 1 towers in middle lane or right lane, it's going to be a really, really nice little power and momentum swing for them when they're able to take that.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was overall, I think there was a bit of sloppiness done on both sides there. You had, I think, XSquidTooMid going up a bit too far with no support, but then you also had GiantDog going in really hard. There was not enough support. But speaking of here, we do see 2 going in Ao Kuang. B's going to be used on the cavalry charge, but still finding himself quite under a lot of pressure. Punches are coming in, going to be taking the tower as the Mercury, going to be healed up by that Conviction. Sonic Boom, always a threat. Going to have to lurk behind the tower for a little bit to ensure your safety. But wrapping around the back, we do see almondbutter is here, going to solar swing on in. Sonic Boom's on standby, but the Maui might be able to do it all on his own. But rotating in is Evan at the moment. Everyone's on standby. GiantDog coming on in. Sonic Boom used. Going to be finding, though, Evan, who's got plenty of damage. Going to find it all on Maui, taking the shotgun spread like a champ. Moving on to the back. GiantDog. CACTUSARMS is here as well. Oh my gosh, the damage on the Zoink. This is quickly turned from a gank to a root. Almondbutter has been eliminated by Evan. And this is once again what happens when you stick around for a bit too long past your welcome.
Really unfortunate Sonic Boom to start that fight. I believe that Ragemar went invisible and the Mercury wasn't able to find them. I think that's the most logical explanation. Now Frostech trying to
lurking
up to this one. Oh, they have
He's
Kraken.
here,
Is
though.
it
He
gonna
wants
be in
more
time?
damage. Raidmore pretty low. Gonna maybe find to execute. Oh, you gotta wait a little bit. No patience there. He really wanted that snack. HackAustin gonna be found by KoalaMang, who's really provided the damage and just gonna really be sweeping this one up. Another member down. GiantDog gonna be finding that kill. Pyromancer gotten as well. Now it's looking like a really solid push. Sunbreakers are coming all up with the objectives.
Doing a really nice job spreading themselves around the map. Now should find the tier 1 mid no problem. I'd expect the tier 2 as well. This is going to be a little bit difficult for Wild Inferno to step up. They have a Maui ult. Sonic Boom still charging. Massive triple stun from almondbutter, though.
It's just a case of overextension. Zoinked gonna find the kill on the CACTUSARMS. A lot of damage being put right now onto the ROM. Gonna take to the skies, but he's gotta land at some point, and they know it. Gonna try to provide as much kills as they can, though, as Ragemore. Decent damage on Squid, but now he's held in place by the Fisherman. Trying to finish it off with a Wildstorm. Egg is gonna buy some time. Nicely done there by the Hachimon, and now Ragemore finding himself in a bit of a sticky situation. Zoinked gonna take quite a bit of damage. Is the ult online, though? Does he have the execute range? Doesn't seem like he does. The ult won't be up for a bit. Frostech gonna find a kill, though, on to Evan. Chasing KoalaMang, gonna realize it's a lost cause. Ragemore gonna have to exit now. A failed engage there. Unfortunate. They had so much momentum. It's gonna fall to the wayside. Uh-oh. This is looking rough. They know where he is. Ragemore cannot escape. Your invisibility won't help you. HackAustin gonna find the kill there in a moment. You can only imagine. Gonna pick it up on a Ragemore. Now, Fire Giant, it's looking like just a distant memory at this point.
Really is, but they do get all the tier 1 towers off of it. It's still remaining on 2 members, so I don't mind that play from the Sunbreakers. I think you said it in the start of the fight, though. Over-aggressive, to say the least. They definitely push a little bit more than they should have. I like the aggressive calls. That being said, need to be a little bit safer when they do it. They had the opening to start the fight, too. It looked like a 4v3, maybe a 5v3 in mid. Just not quite able to capitalize on it. Might be something to look for as we head later into this game, but ultimately I don't think it's going to be a big deterrent, as now KoalaMang going to be the target, stunned out by the Maui, should be a dead Rama.
The KoalaMang is the one you want to get too, but KoalaMang's got a bit of a shield from that buff, courtesy of it. Thank you very much. Gonna be just trying to pour arrows into those, and he's gonna make sure he gets into the waiting arms of the team members. And it seems that the Kraken will not be able to find him. Takes to the air at the moment. Evan is in a bit of trouble. Trying to find as much damage as possible. Big sonic boom there. Evan gonna fall just a moment's notice. Cavalry charge gonna take him out. Frostech for that one. Retreating on back. Solar swing. Gonna try to find Ragemore. Zoinked is going to be able to be saved. And now Ragemore is the one in trouble. Doesn't seem to have any resources to expend. But Frostech also finding quite a bit of damage. KoalaMang providing as many basics as possible. Gonna have to back out of that landfall. Giant Dog gonna take out HackAustin. That's a lot of damage off the board for Wild Inferno. 1-1 at the moment. They're continuing it on, though. No one's intent on letting this fight fall to the wayside. Ragemore gonna have to exit on, try to find a sneakier approach. Conviction kills are going to be a big factor if this thing overextends. Gonna just try to retreat on back. Take the basics of XSquidTooMid as the primary means of defense, and Sunbreakers gonna have to retreat.
Retreating should get out alive as well. It's now a 4v4. Evan does respawn, though. So maybe Sunbreakers now with an opportunity to step up to this Fury, especially with their ADC here. Wild Inferno are going to try to step up. They don't have a big ult. I don't know if I'd even contest. Yeah, honestly, just better to walk away from that one. Oni Wave is going to be coming in about maybe 5 seconds. Yeah, there they are already. Now, I'd love to see Sunbreakers do something with this, but they look a little bit scattered. I don't know if they're going to be able to really properly group up to get some solid objective pushes going.
I think scattered is like just a good word to describe everything that's been going on. These fights haven't felt very cohesive from the teams, and that's why we've just been seeing a lot of like scattered one pick-offs for each side. There's no grand pushes, there's no grand CC chains that we saw in those laning phases. It doesn't seem like either of these teams are really. I mean, individual glory is all nice, but in order to really win this game, it's a 5v5. You got to make sure that you're coordinating with your team, getting off those big chains. And it's not like these comps don't allow for that. Both comps certainly have a capability of that. We're just seeing a few sloppy mistakes from both sides. Gonna have to try to get on out, though. The mistake, to avoid the mistake that he was making, almondbutter too pushed up, gonna be poked on out. Magi's Blessing. I've seen this be picked up on the Mauis many of the times when they're facing an out. Certainly a good pickup. Don't have too much hard CC on the side of Sunbreakers, honestly. And when they do have hard CC, it's ones you want to be avoiding. Blaze Retribution, Leap, Ragnarok, and of course the execute there from Ragemore. So I think it's actually a really good pickup there for the Maui.
I think so as well. Should find a lot of value with it. Admittedly don't know how much they've been targeting the Maui. It seems like a lot of aggression has been going on to HackAustin and XSquidTooMid. Oh, but now speaking of push up too far, Frostech with a really aggressive ult into the backline. It's going to be a 5v3. XSquidTooMid not here yet. Kraken finds 2 in the back. Almondbutter, oh, there you go. Uses the beads, not the Magi's to...
I guess it was already expended to save his life in an earlier instance, but Zoinked now in quite a bit of trouble. Brutalize has been expended, though, so Mercury's going to be able to dash on that with safety. Solar Swing, though, on out. CACTUSARMS going to be in pursuit, but that's a Terror. Not going to be able to provide enough damage, really, to do much. Evan, though, meanwhile, taking out XSquidTooMid. This Hachiman is going to be taken down by the rebooted version of himself. KoalaMang, meanwhile, both hunters popping off. HackAustin going to fall.
Ooh, now Zoink dashes too early. Giant Dog gonna follow him.
KoalaMang's right around the corner. Get out of here! I was rooting for it, dude. That was so sad. I like the idea there, but it was just, you know, between a rock and a hard place there, and unfortunately going to meet his end between the two.
Held on to that ultimate for a little bit too long. Don't like to see it. And before that fight, I was about to say, you know, being scattered fighting is okay. Sunbreakers are looking good. Don't want to be scattered like Wild Inferno did, though. I mean, their frontline looked like they wanted to fight, which isn't always a bad thing, especially when you're behind. Sunbreakers maybe weren't expecting it, because Act 1, you did find a lot of value. That being said, backliners, nowhere to be found. Zoinked was still across the map. You gotta learn kind of when to hit the go button. You really need, like you said, it's a 5v5. You need the whole team there, especially when you're down. It becomes so much more important, because any tiny misplay like that is just gonna get punished to the full extent.
A Kraken off the defensive retreating back foot is nice, but it's never nearly as good as a Kraken on the offensive foot to disrupt a fight that's already going your way. And right now, it's all I'm really seeing. These Krakens are impactful. They do damage, but it's already when Sunbreakers have gotten 1-2 kills on you. And at that point, it's not really that valuable at all. I'm seeing not as much value as, unfortunately, I was expecting there from HackAustin and Poseidon, as well as, unfortunately, this Hachiman. Hachiman, like I said, it's no insult to XSquidTooMid. XSquidTooMid's got a great, is a great player. He's got great fundamentals, but Hachiman is just not a god that can provide it.
It's certainly harder to execute on Hachiman than it is other ADCs. Can still definitely be good and should have some value left in this game as Sunbreaker is going to learn to push down the left side now. And that's a leader's cowl from the Ishtar. Admittedly, I don't know how common that is. I always thought it was the Hunter's cowl that got a lot of the upgrades when you're with your team. And I mean, Evan has been playing around the team a lot. That being said, though, still a really good item. The power's nice. But now they're pushing onto the Phoenix. I think gonna let the minions push in. And I'm glad Nooblet highlighted that. I completely forgot that it kind of scales based on how many enemies are around. Oh, XSquidTooMid not gonna be around for long. Last Rama Snipe misses, though.
Gonna have to expend both relics there? Did you just like panic hit both? I don't think you needed the beads there, friend. But unfortunately, that's going to be both relics expended there on the Hachiman. Pretty bad. We're looking to fully engage with the Phoenix now, half health at the moment. Whirlpool's dropped in a not the best position. Kraken, though, in a better one. Hits 3, but they're still pretty healthy at the moment. Execute range can be found on almondbutter. Gonna be trying to find that right now. Is down Kwang, but gonna be negated by the landfall. Giant Dog gonna find a kill on a Frostech. Stunned out. HackAustin gonna be dropped quickly by KoalaMang. Almondbutter just trying to escape with what little health he can. Good there peel from Zoinked, but now the Titan's gonna be next on the menu. Zoinked gonna get on back in there quickly. Don't go to the fountain, buddy. Why are you dipping in there? Gonna try to find something, but it's a bit too little, a bit too late. Going to find the kills, and also the Titan are the Sunbreakers. We will see you at the desk for the wrap-up.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home.
Welcome on back, everyone. I'm Deelo here for KingFsher. If you just saw the same game that we just saw, Sunbreakers taking game 1 pretty convincingly over Wild Inferno after what seemed to be a bit of back and forth there. Slowly began to slide out of Wild Inferno's control. KingFsher, break it down for me. What happened?
I mean, I know Smite kind of removed snowball mechanics from the game. I don't think that was exactly what went wrong for Wild Inferno. That being said, maybe a little bit of a mental snowball. They looked a little bit off pace to start that game, and I don't really think they got the opportunity to kind of get their feet under them. I mean, yeah, Sunbreakers just kept the aggression going all game long, and it's really hard to coordinate against a Fenrir and an Ao Kuang and an Ishtar when you're already starting from a bad place. I don't hate the draft. That being said, maybe a little bit smoother transition into the mid game could really help Wild Inferno kind of pull it together in game 2.
Definitely in agreement with you. I think those mid game, like the beginning grouping engagements of when you have a 3v3 core getting in, that should be an indication. And they had some solid team play in that part where you had almondbutter rotating in, Zoinked working together well with them. And I just figured that the addition of more teammates would only further enhance that mechanism that was going on there. But it kind of fell a bit flat, unfortunately. I think there's honestly improvement that both teams can make here. I think the improvements that we're looking more here from Wild Inferno are more so team-based, cohesion-based. Whereas I think there's a lot of individual mistakes there from Sunbreakers. We saw a couple of times Rage more like sometimes would try to go for an execute on a target that had already beads a little bit, just getting a bit too overexcited. Giant Dog being a bit over aggressive. So I'm looking for those things to maybe be hammered out in the next game there. I want to call some attention though to KoalaMang. We saw him just slinging arrows into the backs of all the opponents and really doing a great job staying safe while doing it, providing tons of damage and intimidation factor while at the same time managing to stay alive for nearly the entire game. Impressive stuff.
Definitely a strong job by the Rama, and I think you really hit the nail on the head there, maybe reeling it in a little bit from Sunbreakers. I mean, love seeing them play aggressive. I thought they did it very well, but a few oversteps weren't punished this game.
Yeah.
They might be punished next game, though, if Wild Inferno wise up to it, get a little bit more collected. I'd certainly look for them to bounce back in this game too, but I think that's about all the deliberation we can do, so we'll see you back for picks and bans on the desk in game 2.
never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light.
Hello everyone, welcome on back to this Week 6 Divine Division Smite Draft League game. We do see here a little bit of switch-up happening here on the side of Order. We have the Sunbreakers here, the reigning champions of last game, and we have on the sides of Chaos trying to mount a vicious comeback, sides of Wild Inferno. I am Deelo, joined once again by my friend KingFsher. KingFsher, just in terms of picks and bans, we don't really got to talk too much about just comp changes here. What are we maybe looking for as a change-up from both sides, if there are any?
I think a really important part would be kind of limiting the aggression of Sunbreakers. I don't know how much is just because of the team nature or the picks they had, but there's really no way to compete early game when you're facing off against an Ao Kuang, Fenrir, and Ishtar. It just doesn't work, and maybe it's because Wild Inferno didn't get a ton of picks like that on their own, but whatever the case is, they need a little bit stronger early game to kind of compete, because I think last game, they got behind early and really weren't able to recover, which is where I think they really kind of lost a lot of steam.
I would certainly agree with that, and we're seeing that in fact they're recognizing the threat, which I always love it when you target ban a comp that's giving you problems, and they're making sure to target the parts of it that are going to be doing the most work against you, which is, I would definitely agree, that Ao Kuang and that Ishtar. That's the one I was honestly really looking for. I think Ishtar can be a massive issue when it comes to those bigger engagements. Blades of Retribution can provide a massive CC and threat in a team fight engagement or even their 1v1, but we're going to see CACTUSARMS locking back into Terra, the old faithful.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, admittedly for me, the Terra didn't really stand out that game, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if it stands out in a bad way, certainly don't want to see that. I would have loved to see a Maui ban though from Sunbreakers. When we're talking about running back supports from last game, almondbutter looked really, really good on the Maui.
I agree.
Admittedly, team struggled a bit. I don't think it was because of the support though. Hit some really nice landfalls, really consistent CC to keep the enemies in place when they wanted to lock down kills. I would love them to top lock that Maui right now.
Seems like they're really just going for the generics here. I kind of agree with you, honestly. Even when a team beats another team, it's not necessarily to say that there's not key members causing you trouble that can make your next game a bit easier, make that victory a bit more smooth. Because like we said, there's plenty of kinks there that you still got to work out a little bit. So honestly, that Maui could certainly be one of them. But gonna opt for some more magical damage this time on the side of the Sunbreakers. Going to be looking at the Hades and the Hubwa, both pretty solid magical threats to get off the board if you want to, but not really anything we saw them going for. Maybe they believe that maybe they believed on the side of the Sunbreakers that might be the change up that Wild Inferno might be leaning towards.
It definitely could be. Normally, I wouldn't be a huge fan of banning out the Hades. That being said, I believe that, I could be wrong, but I believe that Frostech has run the Hades quite a bit,
He
did
has.
really well with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think also runs a Mulan from time to time, unless I'm thinking about somebody else. Ooh, but these are two
I like this.
interesting picks. The Kukulkan, I'm a little bit unsure of just how much that's going to stack up because Evan was having a really strong game yesterday, or sorry, last set. Not sure if Kukulkan's really the best way to deal with that.
I like it on paper because it provides an easy damage setup for a lot. You can obviously, when the ult's on cooldown, you can still just easy taunt into Zephyr, into Tornado. Very nice. Obviously, if you have that Spare the 9 wins off cooldown, then that's going to be some massive damage you're able to easily provide. So I don't mind it. I do agree that this comp right now already is looking to be very threatening. Kukulkan's only able to slip out of slows, and this team's not providing slows. This team's providing stuns, knockups, and like roots. So you're going to be in a decent amount of trouble if you're getting caught lacking.
Gonna really be looking for some strong peel from maybe the Athena. I'd almost like to see them have a little bit more defensive of a
I
solo
agree.
laner because Athena has really good CC, really good maneuverability. That being said, you don't really want to be peeling if you're an Athena. You want to be running around the map, causing mischief. Not going to be able to do that if you have to babysit a Kukulkan. That being said, I think HackAustin scoreline a little bit deceiving last game at the 2 of 8. I don't think a HackAustin is a bad mid laner in the slightest. And I think in the
Definitely not.
recent weeks has really shown up. So I don't hate them betting on the Kukulkan. Certainly has all the skills to execute on it.
I wonder though if we're going to see. No, no, actually they don't have the switch up. So they might switch back though. I've seen obviously XSquidTooMid name clues in the name can play mid, and I've seen HackAustin to really great effect play this Rama with some solid snipes and great damage. I like that they're taking away. I mean, obviously you already have the carry there, but if they were to go double carry, then you might imagine the Rama might be picked. So instead of banning it out, hey, why don't we utilize that for ourselves? Smart thinking there. Gonna ban out the Fender. It's a full out assault on their prior comp, and I'm not mad about that. That's some solid things to take off the board.
It is for sure. I think the Fenrir was a really big problem. I mean, 8-1, maybe not necessarily as scary as the Ishar or the Yakwang that got taken out, but a good player all the same. And I think to your point, I wouldn't mind seeing HackAustin go back to ADC and XSquidTooMid to mid, like the name suggests. That being said, I'd probably wait until after the set to do it. I'm never really a big fan of switching up roles in the middle of games. I
That's
think it
fair.
can kind of hurt the flow, but maybe that's what they need after that game. Ooh, an assert or hover. It's there's not going to be a ton of peel for the Kukulkan still, but maybe
No.
they're not going to need it. My only concern is they have two really aggressive frontliners, which I like, but two not very aggressive backliners. It's going to be a hard combo to get the flow right.
You really have to have some solid positioning right now. Who's
Oh,
going to be on the Kukulkan needs to make sure they're precise because that Bakasura is going to be coming for you. It's going to be ulting on your head top and it's going to be knocking you down quickly. So that's going to be really something to watch out for. I'm very worried about the Bakasura.
I would be too. The one thing I think is lucky for them, they've already selected a support, so it's not going to be an Aphrodite. I think I've mentioned this on a prior cast, but the most broken thing in the game right now with the changes, an Aphrodite Baka is absolutely busted. A Bakasura by himself is still insane, and
Yep.
especially with what Giant Dog was able to do pressure-wise on the Fenrir, it's going to be worse on the Bakasura. There's not a ton of getting away from that god.
Especially if you got a freaking Ymir walling you out. I would love to
Is
see
that
this
a
be picked
Ymir
up
mid?
because Kukulkan at the very least you can get out of the slow field thanks to Slipstream. Doesn't allow you to be slow immune. It's not like that Kukulkan's got anything that the cripple field's going to be locking you out of. So that's at least solid. But a Ymir wall would just instantly dash any hopes as you bash your snakehead against that wall. And in general, these gods don't really have anything they can do. Athena, very telegraphed initiation, can easily be blocked out, and also can very easily be locked out of an escape opportunity. Gonna opt instead for a Yu Wong there. Interesting pick. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, they definitely needed a mid, so I don't even know what I'm freaking smoking right now. But they're gonna round out their comp nicely there with a Yu Wong.
I like the Huwong. I was hoping in my head, I don't think it'll ever happen, but Nox mid is so undervalued, and especially
You never
combining
see it.
with something like a Bakasura, you have a Herkpluk, there is absolutely no escape in the world for Kukulkan and Rama into that, I think. That being said, Yu Huang, a really strong pick, a lot of CC in their own right. And that being said, Athena and the Surtur not going to be able to touch Heaven.
Ravana, with that, you provide a little bit more appeal for your Kukulkan, a bit more hefty, can provide you a bit more of some with those roots, those slows, try to get them off of your snake buddy, but we're gonna have to see if that comes to fruition because that is, I think, the big issue. And it does seem like we are going to see exactly what you predicted, which is the continuance with both HackAustin in mid and XSquidTooMid going to continue as the carry. So maybe saying, hey, the issue wasn't the players behind it, it's just maybe our mentality. We're going to try to get back in there, get another game off. So we're going to have to see if that works to fruition for the members here of which team was it? Hold on, it was
Wild
Wild
Inferno.
Inferno. For the members of Wild Inferno, only one way to find out. We will see you in game 2.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I I'll chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once.
Hello everyone, welcome on back. Game 2 here, Divine Division. Sunbreakers looking to end this one quickly. Wild Inferno trying to extend this a little bit longer here, have us casting on the chairs a little bit more. I'm Deelo, joined once again by KingFsher. KingFsher, we see the comms here rounding out. How are we feeling about how this game looks for both teams?
I think for Sunbreakers, I kind of like that they went back to the style that worked in Game 1. They switched up the picks a lot, which I don't mind at all. I don't think their last game picks were bad in the slightest, but maybe a little bit more traditional. And I mean, Buck, Zura, Hercules, there is no getting back if that draft gets ahead. On the flip side, I'm worried for Wild Inferno. I like all the picks. That being said, there's a lot of kind of lack of cohesion in the team comps. Both the front line and the back line want to do very, very different things in this game.
I agree. I think the only thing that for me really does work is the Athena Kukulkan. It's a tale as old as time. Taunt them in, big damage on that. But what do you really have after that? You Imp Throw? Mystic Rush? They're not. It's not what you really think of when you hear taunt into. Like, that's not how your ad lib's gonna really end. So gonna have to see if they can execute that nicely, because it really is gonna come down to whether or not they can just burst someone down after the taunt comes in. That's a big initiation you're looking for. If you're not getting enough off of that, you kind of failed the reason for picking up this Athena.
A little bit. There is a pretty solid lack of CC there for Wild Inferno, but notably they do have one of the best CCs in the game with that Athena taunt. So definitely not out of the woods with it. But on the flip side, from Sunbreakers, there is so much they can do to control. They have a ton of Yu Huang CC. I mean, they have the Hercules pluck and the dash. CACTUSARMS lands a double stun, just as we're talking about. CC can't escape from it. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of hard matchup, and if it goes like the first game with Sunbreakers getting that early lead and Wild Inferno playing a little bit disjointed, it's going to be a much shorter game, and I can't believe we would say that after only a 25-minute one.
And not to mention, Salt has sustained too coming from Sunbreakers, between the Terra, Hercules, as well as Vernunos, all able, and Bakasura too, actually, all able to really get themselves out of a fight, heal back up, come back in. So you have to really make sure that if you're going to be fighting with Wild Inferno, you're choosing them carefully, you're looking for kills, not just poke, because it's not really going to work out well for you.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors. Ooh, as we might have to hold that up. CACTUSARMS dropping pretty low. Almondbutter does miss a spear, though. Gonna have to fall back with the minions. Avoids a stun, though, so Athena shouldn't be in too much trouble. I think, like I was saying, though, oh, still have to wait. Dang.
Big dash back, but hold on, the kills actually, first blood's gonna be found in the mid lane, surprisingly, by HackAustin there, making this Kukulkan work. No kills, both members really low there from Wild Inferno. Wish you had some snipes, didn't you, on the Sunbreakers side. Not gonna be able to do anything but just poke out a little bit more, but nice pressure there on their side. Very surprised that didn't end up being a Sunbreakers first blood, just weren't able to make it happen and have the closer.
Yeah, a lot of low health bars across the board. I think may have enough time to get back to what I was going to say, but there's a lot of factors going against Wild Inferno now comp-wise, but I think the players are good enough to overcome them. I mean, we've already talked about how good almondbutter is. Both HackAustin and xSquidTooMid are amazing backliners, and Frostech and Zoinked, both very versatile out of their respective roles as well. Wild Inferno definitely are going to have the chance to take this game back. It's going to be an uphill battle, though. But getting the first blood is a great start. You get a little bit of extra gold in the pocket. On top of that, confidence, which can never really be undervalued in a series like this.
Not getting killed by the purple buff is also a great indication. Almondbutter could fall really low to that thing until SquidTooMid realizes, oh, I should probably bait that thing. So gonna at least spare the support on the Wild Inferno side a little bit more. Meanwhile, we do see it's the tale of two bullies in this lane. We're gonna be end of dazing back onto him. You got an angry Bakasura over there. I was about to say you better retreat on back. You're just gonna have to accept right now as Ragemore and Giant Dog that, and if that ult's on off cooldown, you're not gonna kill him.
You're just not. I mean, as long as Frostech activates it at the right time, then there's no way to kill him. But admittedly, there have been a lot of Surters, not necessarily in the league, but I think I've just kind of noticed in general, like even in casuals, that ult way too late, kind of underestimate
Yeah.
the time it's going to take them to get up or how much damage the enemies are going to do. So it's one thing not necessarily to be worried about, but to keep your eye on going into late game. That being said, Frostech, a really good mid, was super cautious with that use. I don't think is really going to be a problem at all going into this matchup. But Hercules has a lot more burst potential than a lot of other solo laners.
Very true. I still don't imagine. I feel like the solo lane is going to be a lot of this, just like whacking each other with big stick. It's a big stick competition. Both are trying to compensate heavily, but that's what it's going to be at the moment. I really think that in this case, if you're the junglers, I'm not looking to provide too much pressure on there because I know it's going to be kind of just kind of a walk in the park at the moment. You're just going to be walking over there for the views. I think this dual lane is where you want to be looking to, and the mid lane, especially if you are the Bakasura, to get some kills.
Yeah, if I was Bakasura, I would just camp mid the entire time, even if it's not a Kukulkan. I mean, Bakasura just has so much pressure against really anyone that plays. On the flip side for the Robin, I think sitting duo is going to be a lot more helpful. KoalaMang has to beads. There's an ultimate from Bakasura. Chasing down the Sur, and they finally find him with a snipe XSquidTooMid. Oh, big taunt onto Giant Dog, but uses the beads, gets away, and a really nice gank from Wild Inferno.
Yeah, managed to make it happen despite the presence of the Bakasura and the ult that seemed like it might have been pretty impactful. Found a lot of basics on them, but just didn't have the damage. Ragemore under tower with quite low health. Might look for the engage from Frostech. Gonna end of days on up a bit early. And you can see that Ragemore is obviously fleeing. Wow, it's like an action movie. I gotta get out of here, man. He's watching 2012. That was just way too telegraphed, unfortunately, from Frostech. I like the idea, like, to go for the kill on the Hercules. It's a rare thing to see, where the Hercules is going to be dying like that under tower especially, but it was just a bit too obvious.
Would have liked to seem like maybe fake a blue invade or something. Granted, don't think it really would have tricked the Hercules, but would have been worth a shot. And not really used to seeing a Herc that poked out, but that's kind of what Surtur does. Not opting for the Soul Leader build anymore. That item got a pretty decent nerf with those healing updates. So maybe now we're seeing the Surtur branch out, taking a lot of damage though without the ultimate to get away. As Zoinked here though might be a turnaround kill onto the Herc, but a good double stun.
Big driving strike and a Frostech really low. Zoinked to try to opt on out, but the ult's already been expended onto Frostech. Great pull there, gonna make an easy kill there for Giant Dog.
I mean, textbook from Sunbreakers, they do that gank exactly right. Was a little bit worried. I hadn't looked on the map, and I'm like, oh, okay, Hercules is dead. Nice. Definitely not the case, though. So now Evan getting a little attention from almondbutter in mid. And they have CACTUSARMS playing really aggressively on the other side of the map. I don't hate that. Both of your backliners can kind of handle themselves. They have a good amount of self-peel. That being said, Evan not even going to have to go into the skies. And I think one of the downsides to Kukulkan, even when you're ahead in lane, which it seems like Wild Inferno is, you really can't get too aggressive because one small misstep to a Bacchus or a Terra in particular, you're just dead. There's really no way around it.
That lack of room for error is really going to put a lot of pressure onto HackAustin's shoulders, especially as your main damage dealer at the moment. That main burst is going to be on your Snake's shoulders. You need to make sure you're providing it and you're alive to provide it. Once again, we see, though, a lot of damage, but hold on, Hercules doing what Hercules do best, putting you in tower, not once, but twice. Not going to find the second tower shot there. Big boulder going to come through, hit him, but not going to find quite enough damage. KoalaMang, meanwhile, going to take on XSquidTooMid, find the kill. Rotating on in his Giant Dog. This could be very bad. Those Obsidian Shards are not going to help you quite enough. Going to rotate on in his Giant Dog. End of days will come out, but it's too little, too late. Giant Dog going to pick up a second kill here onto the Surtur.
I mean, we talked about it earlier, knowing when to ult out. Unfortunately for Frostech, no wards from the Chaos team on that right side of the map. It's always something we talk about, and granted, when you're feeling comfortable, it can be a thing you forget really easily. It took care of the first gank pretty well, still died for it, but maybe he wasn't as worried as they should have been. Good job channeling the ult. When they saw the Bakasura, I like that he didn't try to stay to fight. That being said, I mean, wards save lives. If you ever hear casters harp about it, it's because it's true. Little bit unfortunate there. End of the day, though, it isn't going to hurt them too much. It's only a level lead for the Herc, which still doesn't feel great, but as Surtur, it's not a big deal as it would be on other gods.
Yes, but my issue with it, like, Surtur does not provide that much in the team fight stage. Like, your ult is a lot less damage, more so disruption, more so the intimidation factor of being knocked up. And right now is when Surt is supposed to thrive. They're a lane bully, and right now you're getting bullied. So that's never good to see. And why is he feeling comfortable? Why you should not be feeling comfortable, Frostech, with 0 wards, because you're getting clapped at the moment by that Bakasura. I want to see those wards being put up. Seems like they're listening to us right now though, because we do see some nice coverage. They're coming in on 2 that solo lane side, which is always good to see. Finally learning that lesson, you know. Fool me once, shame on me. Or you. Fool me twice. I'm buying wards. But anyway, I think that's what the phrase is. What I think is a problem here. I'm very good with my dodges, thank you. English lit student. But what I think is an issue with the Yu Huang, especially going to take the skies right now. Hold on, big engage going to come in here. Nice. Finally going to find the Mystic Rush. Going to maybe find the kill afterwards. Zoinked making it happen against Rage more. No rotations to boot either. They have the vision to know that too, so they can feel pretty good about that one. Nice job by Wild Inferno with the coordination. Going to expend a decent amount, but hey, you got a kill, you're pretty happy.
Gonna be happy indeed. And now the Hercules not gonna be building into the breastplate of regrowth, assumedly going for the Glad Shield first. Don't really love that on a Herc. I mean, obviously gonna get it eventually, but in my opinion, the sooner the better with that. Would like to see that sooner. And I'm really surprised that this Bakasura isn't building into a Hasten Katana. Don't know if it's the best right now, but I think you pointed out earlier, HackAustin does have some slow immunity in the kit, which is nice for Kukulkan, especially because Bakasura gonna be using that ultimate a lot to engage.
Yep.
Be really nice to chase down the Lizard Man, but no such build today. Maybe kind of relying on diving with the Terra, with the Herc to kind of provide that for him. So we'll just kind of have to see as this game goes on. 11 minutes in, though, I think Wild Inferno in a much, much better spot than they were game 1, both map state-wise and confidence-wise, are looking a lot better.
That's definitely something to be said for. 3 kills to 3 kills. I mean, you're a bit down on gold right now, but it's very negligible at this point in the game. So I'm liking the adjustments we're making here. I think they're gonna find to be a big issue. We've seen the Yu Huang just kind of playing farming simulator right now, which is what you expect oftentimes a mid laner to be doing if there's not much pressure from the junglers going on there. And I'm sure the mid laners are both very happy to be doing that. Issue with the Yu Huang is, like I said, their aggression and their CC on the side of Wild Inferno is very telegraphed. Yu Huang can instantly just piece the F out of that situation and say, nah, I'm good. Gonna get scooped up by this Pearl Dragon real quick. So if Athena dashes in, I'm clicking that button every single time. I'm using 3, I think it's 3. But I'm getting the hell out of there. And I'm boosting on up before the giant Spirit of the 9 Winds comes to pulverize my face. That's going to be a big issue, and you're really going to have to make sure you're locking down Evan in order to get anything off of him. Because if you're going to try to burst him down and he can just peace out at any moment, that's kind of defeats the entire purpose.
Really nice for the Yu Huang too to only have to like really worry about the Athena. I mean, when you get rooted by the Ravana, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can still go up into the skies on that dragon.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the Surtur telegraphs his stun from a mile away. There's really not much use there. You can tell when the Surtur's going to ult onto you. There is one god that Evan needs to be afraid of. It's a god that's going to be taken care of by a lot of this enemy team. This Athena is going to have to play a little bit more laid back than they normally would just because of how aggressive this Surtur's going to be. There has to be someone to peel for the backline. It's not going to be Ravana, and it's not going to be the Surtur. Up into the skies just avoids all the damage right when the Athena jumped in. Love to see
Big rotation coming in here from Sunbreakers. 3 members strong, but Wild Inferno going to be fine. Just going to retreat on out. Well, not going to just decide it's not really worth it, but that's going to be a big 4-man rotation onto the Hercules. They really hate him if that's the case. Now, going to opt on against that, which I think is the wise play. It just puts a lot of pressure, this comp, onto Athena and Kukulkan to play perfectly. Like you said, there's no appeal really coming in from anyone else. It's, again, I feel like people just operating a bit too individualistically. But Juan going to pick up a Gold Fury on the Sunbreakers, while meanwhile Wild Inferno is going to pick up the Pyromancer. Bit of an even kill trade. They're going to have a Pyromancer bomb, Runic Bomb in your pocket there at the very least for the next engagement. Pearl Dragon once going to be expended just as we might have said it's going to be used. So even the exchange on the objectives at the moment, not going to be looking for any big scrapping.
Yeah, and I don't really mind that objective trading. At this stage of the game, it's pretty much 1 for 1. Maybe late game you favor Pyro because of that Runic Bomb, but for now, it's essentially even. It's golden XP is all it really is, so neither team going to be too unhappy about that one. But I'd be really interested to see how Sunbreakers are going to play this game. I thought coming into this with the Herc and the Bakasura that they were going to be a lot more aggressive than they are, but we've really only seen the Baka on one major gank. Not what I'm used to seeing out of the Bakasura. I don't hate playing safe. That being said, you could really be exploiting kind of Wild Inferno's draft right now.
Yeah, I'm a bit upset that we're not focusing enough on a HackAustin. I felt like they were doing a better job of that last game. I mean, granted, that was during the bigger team engagements, but I mean, HackAustin has been doing a decent job in warding up a little bit, so granted, it's going to be a bit more difficult, but right there's some solid poke damage applied. But hold on, it's going to be looking for a big engagement onto the opposing mid laner. Evan going to be finding themselves in a world of hurt. Big Shell, though, Terra's also going to be expended, and now the Athena's in a bit of trouble, trying to Defender of Olympus on over to SquidTooMid, but it's a bit too late. KoalaMang going to pick kill. Nicely done there. Going to keep up that aggression, Sunbreakers, right down the mid lane.
Really strong kill from the Sunbreakers there. KoalaMang doing a good job getting them bursted down before the Athena got there. And I like CACTUSARMS using that Terror to try to burst down the Athena as well. Doesn't quite work now. GiantDog in trouble. Gets taunted in. Oh, good beads from the Bakasura. Should be able to get away.
That's the Spirit of the Nine Winds found the Bakasura. That's great and all, but once you had that no more damage, it's all over, and it's really all over. HackAustin dropped with the quickness. Almondbutter might be next, dashing on out safely. Frostech here to provide some solid peel. That's good. Mystic Rush gonna find one, but Evan's already Aegis on out. It's gonna be fine. Driving Strike, big CC chain. Oh my god, the Yu Wong is providing damage. Rock gonna finish him on down. Zoinked will be picked up. CACTUSARMS, no mana at the moment to use, but going to be providing some nice moral support at the very least. Frostech can be pulling him on out, though. Might find a kill there. Blinking on in, though, it does seem, is Ragemore. No, unfortunate there with the misses. No mana at the moment. This could look for a reverse route, as we do see now Frostech being chased out by the Bakasura. Ragemore going to be fighting a bit more damage on his way out. Says, thank you for coming. Beads expended a bit too late there, unfortunately, on the SquidTooMid. Come on, we can't be making mistakes like that. That was just sloppy on all sides. I'm not going to lie to you.
It was a little bit
on the floor.
Ooh, yeah, it definitely was, but I do like Sunbreakers pulling out of that fight when they did. Wow, health bars are low, but I think correctly identifying that they would have probably paid with their lives if they continued to die of that. I think one of the few things we said could have gone better for him last game, and they fixed it perfectly there. Now SquidTooMid in some trouble. KoalaMang probably needs to get out of there. It's
Dude.
a 1-on-3. Don't love the chances.
Oh my, he wants it though. He's dashing on in. SquidTooMid's gonna have to Aegis on out. Still a decent amount of health too is KoalaMang. Gonna threaten him to the point where he has to use the snipes. Taunt's not up yet, but once it is, it's gonna be quite a bit of trouble for KoalaMang. Snipes not gonna find their mark, so still a decent amount of health. This could actually provide quite a bit of trouble. Gonna keep on with the damage though. All three members incredibly low. Squid going to find the kill though. That was insanely close.
A little bit unreal from the Cernanos. Doesn't get the kills, a little bit unfortunate. Probably should have just left. Oh, and there you saw the taunt and the ultimate. Not gonna kill CACTUSARMS fully. Bakasura coming in.
Nice Zephyr.
Oh,
Gonna dash on out though. This could provide enough peel, and they're all low. This could have been the gigantic bait they all needed. GiantDog is in the back right now. Zoinked had to dip on out. Taunt gonna provide some decent peel, put him into the tornado. That's some good damage. And once again, it was just, oh man, there's so many possibilities here. And I'm just upset that they're not being recognized to fruition right there. A lot of low members. It was really a playpen there for Bakasura, but unfortunately, he's gonna be put in timeout. Not gonna be able to find the kills.
Yeah, you identified a little bit of sloppy fighting on the right side of the map. Gonna be a little bit of the same story. Not a bad fight in any means, but now it's started again. Wild Inferno gonna be the aggressors this time, trying to stave off the Oni Fury. Gonna do the job for now. Frostech is in trouble in the backline though.
Cactus dashing back in. The root wasn't going to find anyone, but Dueling Dragons expended decent damage on a Frostech. GiantDog not going to be able to find it. There's the taunt combo. SquidTooMid going to pick up a nice kill there onto the Bakasura. And now, Sunbreakers hesitating a little bit, recognizing this is a bit of a dicier situation. Coming on in, though, we do see rotating is Ragemore with full health just about, but some decently low mana. Could provide a bit of an issue if this becomes too extended. Cernunos, going to find a decent amount of damage there onto Zoinked. Have to retreat on back. Will the basics be able to find it? Good body blocks. Boulder from long range from downtown. Zoinked will be picked up. Double kill there for Ragemore. Excellent work. And now HackAustin will be the next target. That Spirit of the Night One's going to find no one. KoalaMang going to find another. Full offensive into this dual lane side of the tower. Plucked back up. Scooped back in. Frostech won't be able to get out of this one. Evan going to get credit for the kill. It's now 4 members down. SquidTooMid, the only one remaining. Very low health. And it seems that Sunbreakers going to opt to retreat on back what they have. Not going to overextend this time. I think it's a wise decision.
And a very, very nice team fight from Sunbreakers. Admittedly started a little bit chaotic, but a really, really nice quality re-engage. A little bit unfortunate. I think GiantDog had beads, maybe could have avoided dying, pushed it to a tier 2. But hey, Oni Fury still really nice to have. Spawning in right now too, a little unfortunate. Maybe if they waited a few seconds, they would have had more time to kind of get back, heal up, buy some items, and push with those waves. But still should buy them time. Ooh, don't love that though, Bakasura.
Don't, come on, man. Clean up your room. It's not polite. Why? I'm praying that like a solo lane is gonna pick that up. But I've got low hopes. Come on, dude. It's right there. Anyone.
Please?
Bueller. Yu Wong's coming on over. Okay, thank God. I was very worried there.
Yu
Okay,
Wong
gonna
has
pick it
2
on up. The
items on.
hero we all needed but didn't deserve. Evan, MVP of this game. We'll see you next time. No, with you, but no, thank God. I was worried. What do we think? What is Wild Inferno lacking here? They had some moments of greatness there. There's a big taunt combination. SquidTooMid loaded up basics. HackAustin provided some damage. Got a kill onto Giant Dog. That was solid. What are they lacking with the rest? What are they not bringing enough of?
I mean, if we're gonna look at that fight in particular, I would say kind of like the first game, it's a little bit of cohesion. Frostech had a really nice dive. Not a single member on the team was around, nearly paid for it on the back end, but the rest of the Wild Inferno made it there on time. It's a little bit of a repeated theme, which I don't really like, is now Ragemore stepping a little bit too far. As Yu Huang rotating over, I don't think the Hercules dies here. But yeah, Wild Inferno, they don't feel like they're playing as a team. Individually, none of them, I don't think, are really doing bad, but they need to be starting these team fights in groups of 5. They're just kind of starting it one by one, and eventually all 5 do get there. But if it's at the start, you get such a cleaner engage. Now Evan might have to get into the skies early to escape this push if he's a target, but Frostech gonna go into the ult.
He says, I'm going to go into this guy's first. I'm going to steal your move real quick. But where's he going to find a target onto? It seems Giant Dog, but you just landed right into a Bakasura. Get the beads on out instantly. Press A to regret. He says, Ragemore going to find one. Giant Dog going to find another. Zoinked very low, but so is Giant Dog. Might have to retreat on back. Ragemore going to try to find him, though. Driving Strike will not find its mark. Koala will, though, find a kill onto almondbutter. Evan going to finish it all on off. Zoinked will be dropped. One left. Once again, XSquidTooMid, the sole survivor. Can he escape? Rooted on down. Driving Strike down. Beads and egg is expended. Not going to quite find the Earthshaker onto him. Not quite yet, but it's Dunsky deicide there on the side of Sunbreakers. They're looking healthy and fierce. Going to be diving on into this Phoenix and potentially finishing it all off. But they still have quite a decent amount of towers left. I don't think they're going to be able to actually quite take things yet, but it's a solid showing at the moment for what could be coming in the future.
I think it's certainly afford to try, but I think I'd agree with you. Pretty slim chance of ending the game there. Not to be a hater, though, I don't know exactly what Zoinked was trying to do by blinking back into that one. I think if he blinks away, not only does Zoinked survive, but Squid probably survives too, gets out a little bit earlier if they're not trying to go in and save the jungler. Small misplay there from Wild Inferno, but death timers are short, not going to be punished too heavily. But Phoenix and Right, tier 2 and mid, it's going to be a rough one.
Speaking of never
Ragemore.
punished, never lost, Ragemore escaping with a sliver of health. I thought he was tornadoed and done. Even when they were all focused on him, because there was no one else to focus on, they just didn't have the damage. His comp is really not... It's not firing on any cylinder. It doesn't really specialize in individual scrapping. Doesn't really specialize in giant CC chains. And when the burst is there, it's just not enough. CACTUSARMS might be able to find out the hard way, though. Spirit of the Nine Winds going to be expended. Not going to find anyone, but at the very least, you have a kill on a CACTUSARMS. SquidTooMid going to take the air as well as the end of days, it seems. And going to try to find some snipes. Decent damage there on KoalaMang. We're going to land right back in the midst of them. Evan going to pick up the kill. And now it's an even exchange there, 1-1, but a carry for support. Not a trade you're going to like if you're Wild Inferno. Going to push into this Phoenix. Ragemore doing that their damnedest to just bully Frostech to the fountain, and it's succeeding to great effect. That little fire imp is trying to stick around and say, hey, leave my big brother alone. Oh, wait, Bakasura can eat that. Yo, hold on, OP? Wait a second. He can literally... Like, Fire Giant. Surtur is, like, tossing him Lunchables. That's crazy.
Could you imagine how sick of a tech it would be if a Surtur tried to stun a Bakasura and they just ate the minion in midair?
Can you do that? Oh, no, you
I don't think
that
so,
should be
that would be the
sick.
coolest thing in the world. Try to stun a Bakasura, you just see the mouth open up. No more stun, no more minion. No more Gold Fury either. Sunbreakers doing a really nice job cleaning house on the map.
Yep.
15,000 gold, 23 minutes in. I'm not exactly a pessimist, but admittedly, I don't see a scenario where Wild Inferno come back from this one.
In these scenarios, I mean, you do have Kukulkan. Kukulkan's great at tower defense, so that's at least something you have to your name, which is nice. You need to be turtling. You need to wait for if their game to lose the Sunbreakers, they need to slip up, make a mistake, overextend a little bit, which is it's not like they haven't done it before. Ragemore's had some very sloppy positioning in the past and really probably feeling quite cocky now, having gotten out of those situations. Wait for him to do it once more, capitalize, kill that man's. And then I think you can open yourself up for a little bit more breathing room. Definitely not for your own push, but at the very least for some space, which is just what they need. They need some space to regroup, get their heads back in the game.
And Fire Giant's coming up in about another minute. I think the buff wore off pretty recently there for Sunbreakers. Do you imagine them going back to this FG? I mean, they got Fire Minions kind of pouring in the right side, starting to make their way down mid. I think fighting here might be the better call, and that might be the play. Frostech not going to get up into the air.
Oh God, it was a good idea, but in execution, they were executed. 2 down already, and that is looking dire. Fire Giant not even needed, they say. Let's just rocket right down mid lane. Gonna be looking maybe for the next Phoenix? No, they're booking it right to the Titan. A little shield around KoalaMang's belt. But they still have 3 up. Definitely a bit of a risky call. Decent amount of damage there potentially from the Spirit of 9 Winds. Gonna hit one. Yuwon gonna decide to piece on out of that, as you might imagine. CACTUSARMS gonna be able to opt out as well. Did a little help up. Giant Dog gonna find a kill on HackAustin. That's their main damage down. Titan falling quite quickly. All 4 members focused heavily onto it at the moment, and that is going to certainly be a Sunbreakers victory. They break the sun, and they also broke the spirits of Wild Inferno. We will see you at the desk for the wrap-up.
Cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you.
Hello everyone, welcome on back after game 2 here. Nice simple 2-0 here on the side of Sunbreakers. They must be riding high. KingFsher, what happened?
A little bit of rinse and repeat from game 1. Admittedly, I do think Wild Inferno did a much better job in the early game, kind of not necessarily stemming the bleeding, but just keeping up in general. I mean, Gold was pretty much even. Kills were even at about 10-11 minutes. Certainly did a good job there, but then they kind of fell back into the patterns of the last game. They weren't really grouping as much as we wanted to see them. The team fights, admittedly, were a little sloppy from both teams, but to their credit, Sunbreakers absolutely cleaned it up. They really found the rhythm in this one. Not too much that Wild Inferno were able to do.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed because I like the solid core of Kukulkan and Athena. It's just the rest of the pieces didn't fall into place, and even those pieces, it's like we said, they put a lot of pressure onto those two. If those two fall, if that doesn't really work to the smoothness that you expect, then the rest of the team, what can they really do? Ravana and Surtur are not going to be cohesive. You know, XSquidTooMid, Rama can sling arrows as much as you want, but got not really any self-peel to speak of. Once that cripple's online from the Bakasura, that's literally just a tasty morsel in your pocket. And Bakasura, speaking of, managing to do pretty solid, but really, Ragemore, despite having very sloppy positioning at times, was able to make it work. Did not really get punished for it at all. One death that you saw there was just in the solo lane from a big gank. Managing to bully everyone out, get some solid boulder kills too. The snipes from long range, you don't need a Rama for that. Making it happen there on the Hercules.
Did a really strong job on the Hercules, especially going into something like the Surtur, kind of tricky to pull off, but did it well anyway, and a really strong showing from Sunbreakers. I mean, I believe our last game going into the playoffs, definitely a team to look out for. Down in the Divine Division, it's going to be some really big competition. I'm really excited to see it all.
And that being said, yeah, this will be the last game, in fact, before we begin up those playoffs. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like and all that good stuff, comment. You know, we appreciate all your feedback and such. But until then, thank you all very much for watching. I've been Deelo, joined here by my friend KingFsher. We had our friend Nooblet on the cams. Thanks for that, man. And we will see you all next time. Have a good night, everyone.